Imagine a blur of motion on the track. A young phenom rewriting history, breaking records Usain Bolt once held. We're talking about a kid from Tampa, Florida. At just 17, already hailed as the future of American sprinting. That kind of talent.
Absolutely. Just destined for greatness. Moving so fast, he was like literally outrunning the calendar.
So this week, we're diving deep into a story that starts with that lightning speed, but, well, it ends with a curveball. Harder than any starting gun, really. It's the saga of Erriyon Knighton. Not a simple fairy tale, more of a raw, real journey. Incredible talent, yes, but also this unexpected twist and the tough rules of the game.
Yeah, and our mission here is to take you behind those headlines, help you understand not just what happened, but why this case is so significant for you, for the sport, and honestly for how we even define a clean athlete today.
We followed his career, it's been electric, the Olympic dreams, and then boom, the sudden perplexing news, a positive drug test.
And we're going to unpack it all. The precise science of anti-doping, which is complex in itself, and these simmering tensions between the big global sports bodies. We want to peel back the layers, see how a single plate of food could potentially derail a career that looked completely unstoppable.
Okay, let's rewind then. Paint a picture of where this all ignited. Picture this lanky teen in Tampa, born January 29, 2004.
A natural athlete, making waves as a wide receiver at Hillsborough High, dodging tackles like they were hurdles, basically.
But it was the track, wasn't it? When he first laced up spikes in 2019, just a freshman, that's when his real destiny started to show itself.
It really didn't take long for everyone to notice. By his junior year, it wasn't just college scouts from like Alabama, Auburn, the powerhouses. The pros were already calling.
And he made that bold move, skipping the whole college route, signed with Adidas in 2021. He was just 17.
Yeah, essentially deciding why wait? Why bother with college when you're already outrunning the clock, breaking records held by legends? It was a big gamble, but it seemed to be paying off.
And his breakthrough, wow, it was like a thunderclap across the whole sprinting world. April 2022, down in Baton Rouge, LSU Invitational.
He clocked a mind-boggling 19.49 seconds in the 200 meters.
Just think about that. For context, that's a mark that even Usain Bolt, the king himself, only ran faster 4 times in his entire career.
It wasn't just fast, it was historic. He basically announced his arrival with a massive exclamation point.
And it wasn't a one-off either. That season, he stacked up, an incredible 18 sub-20-second 200-meter times.
Claiming the top 10 under-20 performances of all time. Then, the 2022 World Championships in Eugene, Oregon.
Became the youngest individual sprint medalist ever. Grabbed bronze, 19.77 seconds, part of the huge U.S. podium sweep.
Right. And the fans, the media, everyone was calling it the dawn of a new golden era for U.S. sprinting.
Right.
With Knighton right there at the front.
And the fire just kept burning brighter in 2023. World champs in Budapest, Hungary. He upgraded that bronze to silver.
Crossed the line in 19.75 seconds, just behind Noah Lyles again. But still, at 19, a 2-time global medalist.
And the first athlete ever to win back-to-back World Athletics Male Rising Star Awards. That's unprecedented.
Even Usain Bolt, on a podcast back in July 2024, admitted Knighton had my attention for a while. That's about the highest praise you can get in sprinting, isn't it?
Definitely. He was training under Mike Holloway at the University of Florida, honing this style.
Yeah.
It was raw power, but also this effortless grace.
And that personal best, 19.49, ranks him 6th all-time in the 200-meter. Puts him right up there with Bolt, Michael Johnson, the legends.
2-time Olympic finalist, too. Tokyo 2020, held in 21, obviously, he was just 17. Then that absolutely heartbreaking 4th place in Paris 2024, running 19.96.
So yeah, at just 20 years old, he truly was the undeniable future of U.S. sprinting. No question about it.
So his career trajectory was just meteoric, skyrocketing. But then, as often happens, right, in these high-stakes worlds of elite sports, the narrative takes a sharp turn.
A really unexpected turn. And this is where it gets, really interesting. A plot twist nobody saw coming.
Because sprinting isn't just about speed. It's like this high-stakes chess game. Every bite you take, every decision, every single action, it's scrutinized. So what was that first sign? The first hint that this dream run was about to hit a massive hurdle.
Well, March 26, 2024, Erriyon's back in Tampa. He's prepping for the Olympic trials, undergoes a routine out-of-competition test. Standard procedure.
Days later, the results come back. Traces of trenbolone.
Now, trenbolone, that's a substance your body makes when it processes trenbolone. And trenbolone is an anabolic steroid. It's firmly on WADA-USADA's prohibited list.
And the crucial thing here, as I understand it, is that trenbolone isn't your typical performance enhancer someone might seek out, right?
Exactly. It's primarily a veterinary drug used to bulk up cattle before they go to market. It's actually not approved for human use in the U.S. at all, but
Yeah.
it has been known to linger in the food chain.
And his sample, it clocked in at 2 nanograms per milliliter.
2 nanograms. I mean, a nanogram is a billionth of a gram. It's an incredibly tiny amount, almost microscopic.
But still, even that tiny trace was over the threshold set by the rules.
Right, and this really drives home a key point, doesn't it?
Hmm.
These anti-doping rules, they're designed to catch deliberate cheaters, of course. But right now, they don't seem to differentiate effectively enough between that intentional doping and these tiny accidental exposures, say, from the food supply.
Makes every meal a potential hidden risk for these athletes.
Yeah, it really does.
So a provisional suspension hits him, April 12th, 2024. The whole sprint world just freezes. How does this kid, spotless testing history, end up here?
His defense was, well, remarkably simple. A home-cooked meal gone wrong. Erriyon pointed to a plate of oxtail.
Oxtail, yeah, a Jamaican staple. Slow braised tail meat. He got it from a Central Florida bakery, apparently.
And he'd eaten it just days before that test. Completely unaware, obviously, of any potential consequences.
And the U.S. anti-doping agency, USADA, they really looked into this, didn't they?
They dove deep, didn't just take his word. They actually tracked down and managed to get samples from the exact same meat shipment the bakery had used. Sure enough, those samples tested positive for trenbolone. Interviews backed up his story. No supplements, no shady dealings, just a young guy eating a meal.
Okay, so USADA charged him because technically the rules say if a substance is found, you have to charge, but...
But they expedited his case straight to an independent arbitrator. They clearly recognized the unusual, potentially mitigating circumstances here.
June 19th, 2024, the verdict comes down. Huge relief, I imagine. No fault or negligence found.
Contamination accepted. Erriyon was cleared. His spikes were back on, just in time for the Olympic trials.
And he went on to qualify, ran in Paris, finished that agonizing 4th place. USADA CEO Travis Tygart even called it a win for transparency. He publicly blasted WADA's bad rule, as he put it, on livestock contaminants.
So it really looked like justice served, right? Athlete cleared, career seemingly saved, problem solved.
Not so fast, because while USADA, the U.S. agency, cleared him, the global bodies saw it differently.
That's right. The Athletics Integrity Unit, the AIU, they oversee track and field specifically, and WADA, the World Anti-Doping Agency, setting the international standards. They weren't buying the no-fault conclusion.
So on August 8, 2024, they jointly appealed, took the case to the Court of Arbitration for Sport CAS in Lausanne, Switzerland.
Which is basically the sports world Supreme Court. Their decisions are typically the final word.
But wait, if the evidence seemed to point pretty clearly towards contamination, why appeal? What was their argument?
WADA and the AIU argued that Erriyon hadn't proven the contamination beyond doubt. Now, in anti-doping law, beyond doubt is an incredibly high legal bar to clear, almost requires absolute certainty.
So they weren't saying he cheated intentionally.
No, crucially, they conceded there was no intent to cheat. But they insisted under the strict letter of the rules, a violation still occurred because that beyond doubt threshold wasn't met.
And Erriyon's lawyer, Howard Jacobs, he fired back pretty strongly, didn't he? Called it collateral damage.
Yeah, collateral damage in what he described as a simmering war between USADA and WADA. And this isn't just bureaucratic infighting. It's a really critical insight, I think. It shows how individual athletes can get caught in the crossfire. Unintended victims of these bigger policy battles, maybe even geopolitical tensions between sports governing bodies.
And this tension, this friction between USADA and WADA, it's not new, is it?
Not at all. It's been brewing for years. Really intensified back in 2021 with that controversial WADA decision to clear 23 Chinese swimmers.
Right. They tested positive for trimetazidine, but WADA accepted the explanation of hotel kitchen contamination during COVID lockdowns.
Notably, without requiring independent tests of the kitchen or anything like that, which USADA jumped all over, they cried foul immediately, accusing WADA of blatant double standards.
That Chinese swimmer's case, it sounds remarkably similar on the surface contamination claim, yet the outcome was totally different. What do you think accounts for that discrepancy? Is it the specific substance, the level of proof, or something else?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? WADA would argue the specifics differ, the evidence presented. But critics point to inconsistency. And when you connect it to the bigger picture, remember the U.S. even withheld part of its 2024 WADA funding back in June 2025.
Yeah, that definitely paints a picture of serious friction, a struggle for influence, maybe.
It's hard not to feel like, in that environment, U.S. athletes like Erriyon might become pawns in a larger game, caught in a geopolitical grudge match almost.
So the CAS hearing happens. 2 intense days, June 23rd and 24th, 2025, in Lausanne. Erriyon himself testified, explained the oxtail thing again, backed by science, by witnesses. His whole career history screamed clean, no intent to cheat.
But then, today, September 12, 2025, the hammer dropped.
The CAS panel upheld the appeals from WADA and the AIU.
A devastating 4-year ban, the maximum penalty under the WADA code for this kind of violation.
It starts effective today. He gets credit for those 68 days of provisional suspension he already served back in 2024.
Meaning his ban officially ends in July 2029. He's retroactively disqualified for a short period in early 2024, but importantly, his Paris 4th-place finish does stand. That wasn't wiped.
But the immediate impact, it's just devastating. The Tokyo World Championships, they kick off tomorrow, September 13th. He's obviously out.
Completely off the table in the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. Home soil, prime of his career.
A heartbreaking miss. He'll be 24 then. Should be peaking, poised for gold. But he'll be sidelined. 4 years for an elite athlete. It's not just long, it feels like an eternity.
Absolutely.
This whole saga, it really spotlights the razor's edge these athletes walk, doesn't it? Not just in sprinting, but all elite sports.
It's not just about deliberate cheaters anymore.
Right.
It's about these invisible threats, things lurking in everyday life.
Like trenbolone from contaminated meat. These cases pop up surprisingly often, right? Athletes in Mexico blaming tacos, Europeans blaming steaks.
It happens. And the science tells us that even low doses from contaminated meat can metabolize slowly. They can linger in urine for weeks sometimes.
And Erriyon's level, those 2 nanograms per milliliter, experts calculated he'd need to eat something like 102 ounces of tainted oxtail. That's nearly 6 pounds.
Yeah, assuming the cattle were illegally dosed, which is a whole other issue. And USADA, to their credit, they've been pushing hard for rule changes around contamination for years, arguing for more leniency, a more nuanced approach in these cases.
But WADA has consistently stonewalled those requests, basically.
Pretty much. They've stuck to a very strict liability principle. Substance found as violation, unless you could prove beyond doubt how it got there, not intentionally.
And the reaction today, September 12th, social media just erupted.
Shock, outrage, confusion. Posts on X, formerly Twitter, just expressing disbelief. Erriyon Knighton banned 4 years. The kid who broke Bolt's U20 record, system's broken.
Others saying, oxtail got him. That's wild meat contamination is real. But the rules just don't care. Headlines everywhere screaming, CAS rules against Knighton.
But the human cost, that's what cuts deepest, I think. He's just 21. He's lost what should have been his absolute prime years.
No Tokyo Worlds. No LA 2028. That big Adidas deal must be in limbo, if not gone entirely. Training at Florida, on hold indefinitely.
And the mental toll, you can only imagine. This is the kid who joked about having algebra on Monday after running sub-20.
Yeah.
How he's navigating lawyers, labs, his whole future clouded.
He once told Olympics.com his dream was sub 19 seconds and that patience is my mantra.
Well, now patience means 4 long years of watching from the sidelines. His dream's on pause.
Look, this case isn't about malice, is it? It feels more like a stark, chilling warning for every single athlete out there.
They grill their food, scan labels, obsess over details. But one slip, one unknowingly tainted meal, game over.
And it's definitely escalating that WADA-USADA feud. Critics are loudly calling out perceived hypocrisy, especially comparing this to the Chinese swimmers case.
CAS, playing the role of neutral arbiter, they sided with uniformity, a strict interpretation of the existing rules. But you have to ask, at what cost? What cost to individual athletes and maybe even the spirit of clean sport itself?
So, what does this all really mean for the kid from Tampa, the one who is supposed to be the next great superstar?
Well, look, it's devastating, no doubt. But bans do end. We've seen athletes come back. Michael Johnson, for instance, returned stronger after his suspension, fueled by that desire to prove himself.
True.
Erriyon will be eligible again at 25 in July 2029. That's still young enough for the Brisbane Olympics in 2032, maybe even the one after that in 2036.
And his speed. That's innate, isn't it? It wasn't needle-born.
Exactly. Remember when he quipped, "I'm the fastest kid to ever walk this planet"?
Yeah.
That kind of fire, that raw talent, it doesn't just vanish. He seems grounded, family support, loves his football, proud of Tampa. When he returns, expect a roar.
So maybe Erriyon Knighton's story isn't a downfall after all. Maybe it's a detour, a really, really tough chapter, but still just a chapter in what could still be an amazing career.
Sprinting loves a comeback story, proving doubters wrong with every stride. He's already shown us what raw talent looks like, from those Tampa trails to the Tokyo trials.
4 years feels like forever in track time. But in life, It's a chapter. We'll see.
We will.
So, what does this whole saga leave you wondering about? In a world where, apparently, food safety and global anti-doping politics can collide to dictate an athlete's entire future, how do we actually balance these super stringent regulations, which are needed to protect clean sport, with the very real, very human possibility of accidental exposure? What does clean sport truly mean when that line between deliberate cheating and accidental ingestion gets so blurry, yet the consequences remain just as severe? It's a massive question, isn't it? Echoes way beyond the track. Leaves us all with a lot to think about.